You can't expect trouble to not try and trouble you. And though trouble is everywhere, though hardships are everywhere, though you are hard-pressed everywhere, Paul says, all of this that's going on around you, be thankful that you are not crushed. Be thankful for whatever trouble is on you right now because of the fact that you are not crushed. Have you all noticed what happens when you experience trouble? Let me tell you something. God didn't create trouble for no purpose. God creates trouble to keep those who want to be close. All right. I want y'all to see this. God created trouble so that when you got to a point where you got too big for yourself, God will send trouble to reel you back in. So that when you get to a point where everything is going good in your life and you get ready to step out, God says, no, you better stay right where you are. Let me tell you something. You will find that God will bless you to the point of no return when you just find out where God is and stay where He is. So Paul says, look, though there's trouble everywhere, he says, be thankful that you're not crushed. Now watch this. I'm going to go to school real quick. Crushed in the Greek means to be restricted by force or by pressure so to destroy a structure. When enough pressure is applied to a stem of grapes, they will splatter everywhere. But what Paul says here, Paul says, listen, your conviction to the ministry is good, but Paul says you have to be troubled. He says, but you won't be crushed. What are you saying, preacher? I'm literally saying Paul tells you that you won't be crushed like grapes, but Paul says you will only feel the pressure of ministry. Paul says, look, there will be people on every side that will try to knock your conviction down, but you won't be. Okay. Maybe I need to make this plain. Paul says, look, he says, listen, he says, though your conviction will be tested, your conviction can't be crushed because you got God on your side. And so Paul says, if you got God on your side, God will allow you to feel the pressure, but God won't allow you to be crushed. Paul says, look, you're like a structural building. You're going to have problems with your building, but your building will not be. Paul says you're going to have a leak in your roof every now and again, but your building will not be destroyed. Paul says every time that there's a leak, the Lord is going to fix it. I want y'all to see this. Paul says, look, he says, expect the pressure, but don't be concerned about the pressure, because pressure is supposed to be there. Why? What is the pressure for, preacher? The pressure is just to keep pushing you. It's to push you to be greater. It's to push you to be more, try to be more perfect. It's to push you to try to strive to be more like the Lord every day. And so if you just feel the pressure, just know the Lord is saying, keep on going. Keep on. Watch this. So Paul says, look, he says the pressure is going to be there. And so he says, don't believe for a second that you will escape the pressures of ministry to where you won't feel it. Which means then that if you don't feel the pressure of ministry in your life, that means that you're probably not being effective with your ministry. I want y'all to hear this today. Sometimes if you feel like that your life is just all golden good and it's apples and pecans and trees and things of that nature, and you ain't got nothing wrong with you, and you don't believe that everything in your life is chaotic, and you say that, oh, the Lord has been blessing me, which I know He has, and you say that ain't nothing wrong with my life and things of that nature, you probably don't have an effective ministry. I'm just being honest with you. But nevertheless, I just want you to realize something. Watch this. Paul says you will feel the pressure at every turn, because no matter what decision you make, trouble will be there. If you make the right decision, trouble will be there. If you make the wrong decision, trouble, you've created trouble for yourself. But Paul says just because the pressure is there and just because trouble is there doesn't mean that you have to let trouble you. Why, Paul? Because all trouble can do is do what it does best, cause trouble. But trouble cannot hurt you because even trouble has a limit that it can't exceed. I wish I had 7 folk in here that can get with me right now.